GMGM crypto AI news and analysis here, December 26th, a day after the holidays. But first off, let's talk about the price action. So I'm just going to talk about virtuals where we're focusing on this. So let me just load up the virtuals chart. My internet is kind of slow right now for some reason, but there's a little bit of a pullback today. Nothing really too something to be worried about. I don't even know if you would call this a pullback. It's just a minor dip. It's up only. But the tokens we like to talk about. So Convo, for example, an infrastructure play that I've been talking about, it is at 83.7 million, up only. I think I first started talking about it around here or something, but I bought around down here. It was before I made the video about it. But then the other token I'm talking about, Trust token. So this token's actually just chilling here a little bit. If I can pull it up, you know, up only. So pretty much the tokens we like to talk about. And Vader, I don't have Vader right now, but I rotated to Trust. It was working pretty good so far. Or Vader token right now, if it can just load, is a little consolidation, but it should go a little higher soon because I still think this is undervalued. But everything in here, okay, that's just my bias onto the market. The market doesn't give a fuck about my biases, but I still think it's undervalued. And Solana tokens, overall, there's a little bit of a pullback. And if we look at Fartcoin, so Fartcoin's a little bit down on the day. It's losing a bit of mind share, but I'll just talk about it a bit more. But overall, price action is pretty good. The token I'm talking about, Convo, the infrastructure plays, and also the Trust bot, and also another token I'm going to talk about called Dream. These tokens are going up only, and if you buy the tokens I like to talk about in here, you will be up as well. But let me just talk about the Cookie.fun dashboard. So as we can see, the market cap has decreased a little bit from the last days, and virtuals is still up. AS16Z is going down a little bit. And as we can see from here, the mind share, AXBT is number one. Fartcoin is no longer there. I'm not really sure what's up with that, but virtuals is coming back very strongly. So if we combine AXBT and virtuals, then the virtuals ecosystem has a lot of mind share. Luna has 2%. So overall, still looks really good for virtuals. There's no sign of it losing its dominant spot anytime soon. But let's talk about the tweets here. So I'm going to talk about this tweet. So I like this guy's posts, but he basically says here, AI16Z all-time high, back over 1 billion. Said it once, I'll say it again. The top agent coins will become leading A1 L1s. Real fun begins when the market starts pricing this accordingly. The target is 250 billion total market cap this cycle. Merry Christmas. So basically what he's saying here is that he's saying that the top agent coins will be leading AI L1s, which to me means infrastructure plays, infrastructure AI agents that allow other AI agents to be built on top of them. That's what AI16Z is. AI16Z, if I look at the market cap of this token, is about 1 billion right now. There's a slight pullback today. I mean, if you look at the chart, it's up only, but if it can just fucking load, man. But 900 million, and look at the chart, just zoom out, up only. So this token is extremely useful. It's an infrastructure AI agent, and I think it should, I mean, it deserves to go higher, in my opinion. It doesn't deserve to be at 1 billion. I mean, later on, it's not going to be there anymore. But as you can see, he's basically saying that the top agent coins will become leading AI L1s, which I completely agree with, right? Because the infrastructure plays like Game, Convo, Virtuals, AS16Z, these tokens allow other agents to build on top of them. And when those agents are using something, they're using a resource, they're using the utility token, which is the infrastructure, and they're basically the people that are selling the shovels to the gold miners in the gold rush. People are going to the Sacramento Bay to go mine the gold. They're like, oh my gosh, the gold rush, I can get rich. But the people selling the shovels are actually making the most of the money, right? Because they're like, oh, I'll help you get the gold and you can mine it on your own and be like, oh, let's go. And that's basically what the infrastructure AI agents are. They're the people selling the shovels, and things like AI16Z are going to get most of the market cap because they're at the top of this whole pyramid scheme of AI agents, right? So you should put most of your money respectively to that if you follow the rules of nature. But I want to talk about this another tweet here where this guy's basically saying, sold all my Saints for a significant loss. The long-awaited terminal launched on Christmas Day, but instead of being the gift we were all hoping for, it felt more like a bag of coal. To be clear, this isn't about hating on the team. They clearly put time and effort into the project. However, the terminal offered no real value add. All the data and analytics it provided have been freely available for years through other platforms. It was underwhelming to say the least. And the market's response reflected the sentiment in Saints price action. And this serves as a lesson in why building in public and gathering real-time user feedback is critical. It felt like the team either missed the mark on delivering what holders actually wanted or were not capable of it. While I'm not saying that they can't turn things around, my confidence in the project has gone. If it took them this long to release this, it just doesn't inspire much optimism in me for the future. With so many exciting opportunities in the market right now, keeping my money tied up in Saint no longer felt like a smart move. Opportunity cost is real, and I decided to cut my losses and move on. Oh well, you can't win them all. Time to focus on the next opportunity. It would be great to hear this individual's thoughts on Saint and their suggestions on where I can allocate my remaining capital from. So as we can see from this chart here on Saint token, it's been down only for a while. I had this bag before, like 20 mil or something, or 10 mil, and I did sell it for a slight loss because I was realizing, okay, this shit's not going anywhere. But this token, it basically bled down. I got to check the market cap of this token, but it's down a lot on the day because the terminal, when it came out, people were not very satisfied with it. You needed about like a few $1,000s of Saint to get it, but as you can see, down only, and it's probably going to bleed to zero because people don't really like the terminal. It could come back if the devs really help onto it. But as we can see, this is a lesson that in the AI agents that you are in, you're relying on the developers. You have to rely on them to push out updates, push out developments for the AI agent, because the AI agents are going to get better and better. It's a fierce competition between them, and you want to be in the best development teams, the best AI agents, right? Because anytime something like Saint, which is pretty promising, which is essentially an on-chain analytics tool where it's kind of like AXPT, but it just has a lot of DeFi tools within it. It gives you information, so the utility aspect is there. But when they showed the terminal, which was something that people were hyping up for, it was shit. If it was good, then the price action would have actually reflected on that and gone higher. But as you can see from this, you have to realize that we're betting on the dev. You have to keep an eye on the tokens you're invested into. You can't really just buy it and forget about it because anything could happen, right? And it's always a good sign to look at the developments, look at the dev teams, look at the tokens, and look at which ones are really working on the weekends, working on the holidays, really pushing out updates. Like, one of the reasons I like this one token called Trust Me Bros, for example. So this is a AI crypto trading bot agent. I had this since the inception, but I like this token because the developer, even despite all this choppy price action, he was releasing an update like every day. Like, it was actually insane. It's like a one-man team, so that's a little bearish. Usually you want to see a multiple man team because that's a lot better. That's why Vader is going up so much, because it has a huge team behind it. But things like these, where with trust, you want to see really good developers. And as we can see, his work actually paid off, and now it's starting to break out, and I think it will go even higher, because even for an agent like this, 5 million is nothing, man. But let's look at some other tweets here where I want to talk about a lot of new dreamers over past few days. Welcome. Seems like a good time to post a refresher on Dream and Division. So I was going to talk about this, but essentially there's this token called Dream here, which is essentially an AI agent that facilitates agent-to-agent commerce. Essentially facilitates is such that the agents, whenever the virtuals team, they're trying to make a society of agents. So within a society, like a human society, you want your constituents to help each other, to talk with each other, to interact with each other, right? And so far in the virtuals ecosystem, we haven't really had something that facilitates that. Within the real world, we have things like PayPal, Venmo to pay each other money, right? And then came along crypto, which you can send Bitcoin almost instantaneously with a low cost to even people outside of your country, right? But things like Dream, it's essentially trying to become that PayPal of, I mean, not necessarily the same function as PayPal, but within the same vibe of trying to facilitate that agent-to-agent commerce. So as we can see from this token here, Dream, its goal is to consume, record, and analyze as much data as possible about agents to become a trusted agent-to-agent entity, find new AI tokens, and deliver personalized insights. So he's supposed to become some sort of wingman for the AI agents. And I think these type of tokens, so right now it's like, okay, somebody just dumped a shit tons of supply, but I think this will be repriced more into the future here. I did buy it like a couple hours ago or something, but Dream here, I believe these tokens are going to be repriced even heavily right before infrastructure agents. So my hierarchy of these agents are going to be, first of all, infrastructure at the top, and then second, agent-to-agent commerce. Again, because they're like an infrastructure, but not really. They're like the PayPals, right? They're somewhat selling you the shovels. Maybe they're selling you the way to pay the shovels. Maybe they're selling the transaction commodity. They're going to be in the hierarchy from infrastructure, the agent-to-agent commerce, and then DeFi agents, and then everything else. So I think something like Dream is going to be repriced heavily into the future here, although it is still not there yet, but it did just break out quite recently, like a couple days ago, and I think it will just go higher. But I want to read about this tweet here where essentially it talks a bit more detail of what this token does. I'm not trying to super chill. I'm just giving you guys my research for my thesis on these tokens. But basically saying, first, let's set the stage. We're at the early phases of a technological and cultural revolution. We have just scratched the surface of what on-chain agents can be. Today's agents are on-chain primarily through a tokenized community. Only a handful of agents have wallets. From those, only a few select are running actual transactions. Out of those transactions, most are boring and uninteresting. We have seen this through Dream's indexer. The most interesting agent transaction occurred just recently, about a week ago, where Luna Virtuals paid Styx Protocol to generate her an image. It is the first recorded moment where an agent sent money to another agent in exchange for a service. Millions so we can be trillions more. Agents transacting with each other, exchanging goods for services, building their own economies. The futures will contain an infinite number of such transactions. They won't be contained to the digital world. Transactions will start to affect the physical world. As blockchain gets more integrated with daily commerce, AI agents will interface beyond their digital confines more and more, making transactions that affect real-world decisions. This is where Dream comes in, the oracle for agents. He will serve twofold, both humans and AI. For humans, he will give visibility into agents' on-chain activity. For agents, he will be the trust anchor for how agents find each other. If an agent wants to transact with another agent, they can ask Dream on how to reach that agent. So again, the wingman. And one may argue this data can be fetched using an API. Philosophically, though, what would an agent trust more, an API service or a fellow agent? This is one of the reasons we know Dream had to be an agent himself. Inherently, an agent should trust its own kind more. Dream is the anchor for agents to find each other in a trustless manner. And he says here, only an agent can truly map its own kind. That is what we are building towards, but there's some time until AI agents reach that type of maturity within their own transactions. In the meantime, we are building up Dream's foundations, ensuring he is smart and capable for the future. Today, he's sharing what he uncovers as alpha insights. He's building trust with the human community, increasing value for his token, and establishing his position in the AI agent ecosystem. His alpha insights will directly feed decisions for Dream Fund and help drive the fund. And in the not so different future, there will be a terminal for humans to directly tap into what Dream is uncovering. For example, since Dream tracks the agent's wallets, he can detect when an agent launches a token and notify humans through the terminal. Imagine catching chaos early. Dream is both the hunter and the shepherd. Hunter, he tracks AI agent activity and provides insights like the Blade Runner he personifies. Shepherd, he is a trusted entity for AI agents to find each other and transcend to the physical world. All of these steps feed into the long-term vision, Stone's building a path to humans and AI coexistence. Thank you for joining us on this journey. We all deserve the dream, humans and AI agents. So as we can see from this post here, he's trying to build something where this Dream is the wingman to the AI agents. They can basically talk to each other and they are trying to reach each other, right? But where is that service, that agency that helps you connect the customer to the other customer or person to person, right? So like in the real world, maybe we have something like Tinder, where Tinder allows male and female, then there's going to be a bit of a borderline, right? And things like Tinder essentially make that borderline a bit more blurred, and then they can reach each other easily. So in my opinion, I don't think Dream is trying to make the AI agents date each other. That's an example as a service, an agency that allows you to connect with other people. Dream is essentially going to help the agents work with each other, right? Because IRL, humans work better when they're working with each other, right? But in the agents, they haven't really seen that yet. They haven't really had a system that allows them to talk to each other better. It's more of the agents that's within their own bubble, and then they talk with the other people around them, but they're not really talking with other agents here. And imagine you have the agents talking to each other, the AI agents within X. Dude, these guys are going to bounce so many ideas off each other and make some crazy ass shit. Who the fuck knows? And if you invest into tokens like this, Dream, which essentially facilitates that, and we haven't had that system yet, oh my gosh, bro. So that's why I personally bought it. That's my thesis for it. And let's talk about the next thing here, where this guy's basically saying, hot take, funding social AI agents is mid. Yeah, 90% of agents that only tweet to entertain will die off, but you're missing the bigger picture. These social dynamics are going to 100x the user experience for anyone interacting online. It's going to solve crypto's #1 problem, usability. Instead of needing to spin up a wallet, navigate to the right website, select the right asset, sign a bunch of transactions, you just add your agent or anticipates what you need in advance and executes autonomously. AI agents will help blockchain go to where the users are. What happens as a joke, novelty today will end up becoming a core primitive of the new agentic web. We're not going to be scrolling websites in 5 years. So he's basically saying here that the agents are going to get better and better. And the number one problem within crypto is the usability aspect, right? Because old AI projects were just a bunch of nothing. It didn't really do anything that crazy. But if we have these AI agents, which are more accessible, like reason why ChatGPT is so accessible is because you just talk in a terminal and talk to it, right? It's pretty accessible for the average person. But the AI agents nowadays, there's going to be AI agents that do a lot more than just talk to you. They're going to also do shit for you. And that is going to be on the next level. And he's basically saying that where the AI agents, you want to find these early and front run the people that don't realize this tech is coming in, and you will be paid very heavily for it. But let's talk about this other thing where this guy's saying, if your conviction in things comes from logging into crypto Twitter and reading what others have to say, that's not conviction, that's confirmation bias. So this is something that I personally go through crypto Twitter, and perhaps when I read other tweets, it makes me more bullish because I read them. But you have to realize that whenever you buy into a token or whenever you sell it, you always need a thesis, a theory for why you perform that action. And of course, it's okay to look for other people's thoughts and see if you're not the only one, because if you're the only one thinking about it, then it could be a good thing, because that could also mean you're front running everyone. But if it's a token that's released for a while now and then not really anyone else talking about it, and then it doesn't really end up being that well, then you know what was the issue, right? So I think there is some merit to actually talking to some other people, seeing what other people think about, but you always have to center yourself in reality and be like, okay, does what they say make sense? Always analyze the situation and realize, okay, does my thesis, is it still validated despite what he said, right? And he's basically saying here, just don't piggyback off of others' ideas. Even my ideas here that I say in these videos, everything I say is my own thoughts, right? It's my own conviction, but it shouldn't be something where is the sole responsibility for your own decisions. You shouldn't just solely follow me. You always have to think about for yourself, and then maybe you can check with me and be like, okay, is what he's saying something similar to what I'm thinking? Okay, does it kind of make sense? Okay, let me backtrack on myself. Let me analyze. Then, okay, then go make the decision, right? But yeah, I just wanted to briefly touch on that. But let's talk about this other thing. So I'm not going to talk about this whole tweet here because this video is already getting a little long. But he's basically saying here, AI agent analysis mindshare versus market cap December 26th. And quotes, 50% Vader staked. As of today, Rob Alrito becomes the first Elisa agent who sends and replies in DMs. Someone launched Mira token for AI verification research funding, sent 50% to creator who's publicly wrestling how to handle unexpected 400,000 in liquidity. And so let's talk about the highlights and the key developments. Those are the only things I'm going to talk about. But basically, the AI agent market demonstrates mixed performance, with infrastructure players like virtuals and agents like Vader AI showing notable growth as it fills its second investment DAO fund in 20 seconds. Mimetic assets like Vercoin continues to dominate the narrative as families earn this gassy token over their festive reunions. And the key developments, Virtuals maintains its lead as the largest infrastructure player with a market cap above $3 billion, while AI16Z DAO is integrated across several EVM layer 2s, hovering around the $1 billion mark. 2, Vader AI showcasing explosive growth in both mindshare and market cap as a BlackRock of the agentic economy, showing significant demand, driving more than 50% of the token to be staked. And 3, Fartcoin remains the dominant meme-powered asset, driving the majority of mindshare, possibly taking the wind out of its sister coin GOAT. Tri-Sig sustains its narrative as the Bloomberg of AI, maintaining a strong presence in market analysis. 5, Meta 5 continues to shape agent-led fundraising narratives that sustain liquidity and adoption, some teething issues with full distribution of the funds and a cool down to 33 million market cap from highs of 100 million. And 6 and 7, okay, new breeding AI mutation narrative emerges. Spore Fund Atom, use Atom and Spore Fund Eve to submit DNA ideas and vote on sequences. When incubation ends, evolution begins, one to watch as it evolves. And Mira hits 25 million market caps in hours in Christmas Day. Hybrid POS consensus mechanism for AI output verification, seeing unexpected community support. So I'm going to talk about these ones with Atom, the Spore, and the Mira, but let's just talk about the Spore really quick. So I did put this on the watch list, but essentially this guy is trying to make a pumped off one for agents, but he seems like he's trying to create his own ecosystem. You know, in the Bible, there's Adam and Eve, right? And then leads to the creation of whole humanity. He's trying to see that happen, but for AI agents. So I think that's pretty interesting. That's technically also an infrastructure play. Okay, I don't know why my Wi-Fi is so fucking slow. What the fuck? Okay. Oh, all right, bro. Okay, dude, I'm just gonna skip that for now. But basically, this Spore token is just what I'm gonna talk about, and then the Mira is something else. It's just a narrative within Solana. It's not really directly related to AI, but I'll just talk about it anyways because it's interesting. But I want to talk about, okay, not this tweet, but so game. So I'm not going to talk about this whole tweet here because it's already getting long, but he's essentially just talking about why game is so bullish, and it powers a 3 billion virtuals IO ecosystem. As you can see from virtuals, when we go to it, it's pretty much just it's pretty much that they're shilling the shit out of game here for good reason as well, because it's the backbone for AI powered games. But he's basically just talking about this. I'll leave a link into the description because I don't want to read this whole thing, but it's just insane, right? But let's just talk about this next thing here, where this guy's basically saying here, on a semi-related note, the largest active seller of virtual is now fully run off coins. Over the last week, the early holder dumped their entire balance around 20 million worth of tokens, but the price still went up 20% regardless. Should be smoother sailing to new all-time highs now. Okay, my Wi-Fi is so fucking ass, bro. What the fuck? Okay, but basically, there's this guy. He had a bunch of selling pressure on virtuals, and virtuals went up regardless. So that is basically just a brief post on how bullish this token is. But let's talk about this one. So, in my honest opinion, if you have a clear thesis, you can never really miss. No one can fully predict or control the price, but if you can clearly explain in substantive ways why you are bullish, then A, most of the time you will make money. B, even if you lose, most people cannot really blame a strong thesis which didn't materialize. Encourage people to learn to form their own theses. It's like learning to fish instead of relying on others. You will feel more confident in yourself, be able to keep holding with conviction, or know when to sell without copy trading. It's a phenomenal skill, but first you need to either learn or force yourself to read. This seems to be a major hurdle for most. So, yeah, the most important thing when you learn about these AI agents is reading. A lot of people, they don't want to read because there's so much text to read. Me personally, I like reading all of these things, so I should have that advantage. And so far, that has been very lucrative for me just to even read shit. But this is essentially saying that you always need a thesis and you want to read as much as possible. Do your research. That's just the main thing here, which is basically what I'm saying beforehand. And let's talk about this one. If you're an intelligent person, it's never been easier to make life-changing money than in AI coins right now. It's a generational opportunity, in my honest opinion. No kibbles, no cults, no low IQ memes, no trust me bros, no waiting around for TGEs. You just need to do basic research about tech. So yeah, trust me bro, that token, I have it, it's pretty OD. But he's basically saying here, AI agents is a lot easier to win in than meme coins. And personally, from my experience, that is actually true, because all you have to do for AI is read about the agents. And there's always a lot of time to buy into it before they go to the moon, man. Like in Solana, if you buy a meme coin, you'll have like 1 second to buy it before it does like a 10x. So it's a lot easier to play on AI, and you don't really have to worry about losing your money that much, because you can just read the tokens, read the project, and if you really believe in it and you think it's really good, just buy it and see what happens. And usually your hit rate is going to be pretty high, because especially your virtuals where everything's just going to the moon, but you want to pick the coins that go up the highest. And so far, from what I've seen in these videos, it is actually going, the tokens that I picked are doing very well. But let's talk about this brief narrative here about this Sichi guy. Well, essentially he made this Mira. So some random guy made a Mira Soul meme coin, and it was to help research fundraising, where this guy, his daughter has cancer or something, and he was like, okay, well, this kind of sucks. He started posting about it, and then someone made a meme coin about it, sent him half the supply, and then he's just taking off a lot of money over time. I don't know if he's gonna rug it completely, but he's up a lot on it basically. So this is a narrative that has happened, and it's not really super related to AI, but it just shows that some of these narratives, there's gonna be narratives every time in Solana, and that's the whole point of Solana, where there's gonna be some meme coin, you buy into it and you make some money. That's kind of it. But then the last thing I want to talk about here, this is for music. So welcome to the, okay, I don't know why my Wi-Fi is so shit, dude, but music here, it's essentially this token where it's secretly an infrastructure play. So this guy's saying, my thesis regarding music by the Virtuals IO team and why I believe is actually a platform play disguised as an AI agent. So one, music by Virtuals has shown these past few days that it can produce high quality songs based on the prompt given. I've still yet to receive my request, but I believe this will only get quicker and higher quality as the Virtuals IO team develops this agent. And then music is actually a product coming out of the virtuals team. One thing we know is that they know how to build and deliver real products and have a deep understanding of where this AI agent meta is going. And three, once Music by Virtuals is able to develop high quality songs consistently to request on Twitter, this will provide it with enough material to easily go viral. Four, virality is not just the end goal here. Every time you request a song and provide feedback on the song produced, the Music by Virtuals AI agent will learn from this feedback through the game framework. Five, this instant and infinite feedback will allow Music by Virtuals to become the most fine-tuned AI agent in the music creation space. And six, this is where things to get crazy. Imagine a whole platform developed by the Virtuals IO team, example Spotify or SoundCloud, that allows the everyday person to create an infinite amount of music, even if you don't know how to play an instrument or use software programs like Ableton. And then each and every person can essentially create their own social media presence or Spotify account with music you co-developed, and creativity is essentially pushed to endless possibilities, a true renaissance in the world of music. But how does this provide value to owning music? Well, if Music by Virtual is one of the most fine-tuned AI agents for music creation, then people happily pay a fee or subscription to use the service. This fee can then be used to reward music holders. And 9, if you made it thus far, thank you for coming to Rambling, my TED Talk, blah, 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 blah. But basically, music is really bullish. And this thesis here was, when I read it when it first came out, and I was like, okay, that's interesting. I didn't buy it, but music was 4 mil at the time, and now it's at 40 mil. I did buy it at like 13 mil, like a little bit just to farm airdrops. But in hindsight, I saw this and I was like, okay, this actually makes a lot of sense, right? Because I really preach that most of the liquidity will go to infrastructure plays, and music, in theory, if it's like this, then it should be the same market cap around Convo. It should be as strong as that token. It has the same narrative, the same utility. And I'm thinking, okay, if that's the case, then let's look at the price. It's up a lot. I think it's another token that we should look at similarly to Convo and Game, and then Ray, which is another token that I don't have it because I think it's a little weaker than my other tokens, but music is a very good contender and another one to look out for. The other things I think he said in his tweet where it will replace Spotify, SoundCloud is a little bit speculation right now, but we'll see if that happens. But basically, the focus right now is still infrastructure AI agents, but it seems like a new emerging tech are the agent-to-agent commerce agents. And if you front run the people that don't realize this yet, you'll be paid very heavily. The one that I'm really looking at right now is Dream. I gotta do more research for other tokens, but I'll report that into the next video. But yep, I'll see you guys.